two terms that are used interchangeably between the media, coaches, and even sometimes students and researchers are abilities and skills. In motor learning, abilities and skills are defined as separate entities. So abilities are general traits or capacities that give a person his achievement potential. So when we talk in NBA, coming up to the NBA draft, when we talk about a player who has a lot of potential, typically we're talking about a combination of abilities and anthropometric measurements. So, height, wingspan, body fat percentage, things of this nature. Abilities are stable once you reach maturity, and they have generality. They're generalizable to many different skills. And because of that, they're looked at as the prerequisites to skills. On the other hand, a skill has a specific purpose. It's goal-oriented. So if I'm shooting a basketball, the goal is, to put the ball in the basket. Motor skills especially involve movement, and they're learned through practice. And again, they're specific to the one activity. They're not generalizable. Now, you look at some athletes who are great at multiple skills. So you take Steph Curry. He is a great shooter in basketball and also a great golfer. Okay, so people look at that and they may say, well, use that as he's a great athlete, or he has, these skills transfer. And really, it's not necessarily the skill that's transferring between golf and shooting a basketball. It's the underlying abilities are similar. So to be a great basketball shooter, you need, among other things, hand-eye coordination, multi-limb coordination, dynamic balance. These three things are going to be important in golf as well. So you need hand-eye coordination, multi-limb coordination. Balance might be a little less important in golf, especially dynamic balance, than in basketball. But the same underlying abilities will help one to learn and perform a skill. So, but it's not the skill necessarily that's transferring, it's the abilities. So again, abilities tend to be genetically inherited, which again, when we talk about Steph Curry and the shooting gene, it's not that he developed, or the shooting gene is one thing that's passed down from, Del Curry to Steph and Seth. Instead, it's some of these abilities. Del Curry likely has great hand-eye coordination, great multi-limb coordination, and these were inherited as, passed on traits, genetic traits that were passed on to his sons. And because the hand-eye coordination, the multi-limb coordination are so important for the execution of multiple skills, and especially shooting a basketball, we begin to think that it's just one thing, that the shooting gene exists. Whereas it's really a number of different abilities that combine to lead to the execution of one skill. So again, on the one hand, we have kind of the genetically inherited abilities that have some influence by the environment. And then on the other hand, you have skills which are learned and practiced and require time to really develop. So again, these terms are often used interchangeably, but really they should be differentiated. And when we speak about an NBA player's potential, we're speaking about the abilities and maybe the combination of abilities that a player may have. Whereas when we're speaking about his skills, we're speaking about very specific skills in terms of, dribbling, shooting, passing, these types of skills that are specific to one sport, specific to one situation even, and are not generalizable necessarily to performing a specific skill in another sport.